The kind of instruction and discipline or code of behavior a child receives from the parents or guardians amounts to the upbringing of that child. Good or bad upbringing of a child determines whether that child will turn out to be a good or bad influence on society. Children have the tendency to be adventurous, but parental caution and guidance keep them on track. I remember while growing up, just one stern look from my mom or dad was enough to caution me to refrain from a bad behavior or action. And I'm sure many of you can relate to that. However, in the hustle and bustle of life today, some parents appear to be too busy to pay attention to the excesses of children and their moral upbringing. There is also the notion that parents who work excessively and do not have time for their children tend to over-pamper them with gadgets and internet exposure even when they are not of age to compensate for the lack of attention. The diminishing parental discipline has led to decadence in society, with several examples around us and on the internet. Our focus today on the program is child upbringing, an impact on society. Welcome to 30 Minutes on NTA News 24. I am Mitaire Ikpen, and as always, the clock is ticking. Now let's get into the subject matter. There's an age-long saying that it takes a community to raise a child, meaning that the responsibility of a child's upbringing should go beyond parents to the extended family and across all agents of socialization. But charity, they say, begins at home. What are those core values and morals that parents of yesteryears were known for? And what is the trend today? Let's find out from Lydia Sampson.
Amo Nelson is in her early 40s, a nurse by profession and mother of 2 teenagers. She's what the children of today will refer to as an old school because she is strict, focused and disciplined in the true meaning of the word. She says there are happenings credited to children today that leaves her baffled and wondering how things that can't be imagined in her childhood days are predominant nowadays.
You don't give room to children to just do things the way they want. No, especially talking about the internet. Nowadays, you even see a child of 2-3 years with phone. To me, it is wrong. That child is supposed to know why he's supposed to have a phone. Why are you giving a child of 2-3 years phone? What does he need it for? The only thing they do is they go into the internet. They see all manner of things. What they don't supposed to see, you see them seeing it.
Growing up, she said she felt her parents were mean, unsociable and too strict. In fact, she says they had nicknames for not just her strict parents, but even neighbors who take pleasure in disciplining any erring child. Today, however, she says she remains forever grateful for the discipline of her parents.
My parents are very disciplined. I happen to come from a family. My father is a military man. I grew up, I was born in the barracks. I started my life in the barracks. Very disciplined. And today, when I look at what I've passed through and what I am today, I can only say thank you to them because they molded me to the lady I am today. But then I was thinking they don't like me. Let me use that word. Because the discipline was even too much. I would be thinking, is these people that really gave birth to me? But now I can only say thank you. Because honestly, I could remember there was an incident. My dad came back one day, made the 2 of us, myself and my other sister. We were just making our hair. He passed. He asked, is food ready? My mom said, don't worry, I'm already in the kitchen, I'm cooking. He went out. When he came back, he called both of us. By then we are done. He called both of us. He said, so this is what you people did. I made my wife to enter kitchen and cook when I have 2 grown-up girls at home. He said, now I gave you 30 minutes, lose that hair. I felt like, oh my God, I cried my knife out that day.
She's not alone, as her story resonates with not just some of her colleagues, but people in her age bracket and others.
It was tough being a child, because back then that's what it felt like. I didn't know any better, so it felt like everything was being treated with an iron hand. It was being taken too seriously for me. I would say I never had room to play. But look back, I did have room to do all those things, but the ones they approve. So the way my parents corrected me was by discipline, like the physical discipline. Punishment, you serve a punishment or you get some strokes of cane. And yeah, I've said this before and I'll say it again. I'm grateful that they did not spare the rod. I think it contributed in who I am today.
It was really, my childhood was a memorable one. Though disciplinary wise, we felt that our parents were punishing us, they were wicked and all. But I think it has helped shape who I am today. And I will forever be grateful to them.
You can't expect a child of 12 years old handling a phone because what is he looking for in the internet? Nothing. Because the person has to be from 18 years, which he knows what he's doing. So when the child is above 18 or 18 at least, the person should be able to handle a phone because he knows what is good and what is bad. So I don't advise a child of 12, 14 or even 16 to handle a phone.
This is because in the days of yore, bringing up a child involves a combination of parental guidance, school discipline, and societal watch. Conversely, some parents and guardians in modern times openly challenge any attempt to discipline or correct their children or words. Experts note that such trend emboldened children to get away with wrongdoing.
When we were growing up, a child does not belong to his parents alone. The child belongs to the community. So even if your parents fail at any point in doing what they ought to do, to teach you verbally or to discipline you, the community will do it on their behalf. The community will if they see you going out and saying what you ought not to say, doing what you ought not to do, or moving around places you ought not to be, anybody in the community will call you to order. And then if you are proving stubborn, they can spank you and beat you. And when your mom or your dad hear what they have done or see what they have done, they will applaud those neighbors. But we cannot do that today.
14 years. And I've been with a mother. She was a disciplinarian. She taught me a lot of things. And she's this type that before she beats you, she will draw you and say, this is what you did wrong. And this is the way to do it next time. And telling me that she won't leave it there, she will strike me, she will beat me. She will say, I'm doing this so that you don't repeat this next time.
Respondents note that the prevailing trend where parents are not firm but pamper their children could spell doom for society, as over-pampered children may misuse such privilege and grow up without virtues and values.
Today you have working mother, working father, nobody's on ground except the house help. And because they are on ground, they are able to see, mannerism that have changed, body language that have changed, generally things that you are doing that is like a red flag, that something is going wrong with this boy or with this girl, and they quickly call you to order.
While some are of the view that when necessary, corporal punishment should be deployed as a last resort, as sparing the rod could spoil the child, others believe society has evolved and the best approach is communicating with an erring child.
But they say, the Bible says, spare the rod and spoil the child. So today, our children go to, parents that have no time for children, also mandated teachers not to discipline their children. So it becomes double tragedy. But during our time, it's both.
Your way of correcting them, first correction is by striking them. The child will see it as hatred, that you don't love them, you don't like them, because they didn't really understand why you had to strike them. But if you talk to a child, sit a child down, explain why what they did was wrong, most of them will take correction.
Again, it goes back to this family unit stuff. teaching your child, what is obtainable, what is right and what is not. Because your child will follow in the path of what they see you do. So, for example, you want to watch a TV show, you are inviting them to come and see the movie you're seeing. They are seeing a movie, you join them, and then you point out good values as to, yes, in that movie, that, okay, this is a very good thing. So it's positive feedback. Rather than say, don't do this all the time, don't do that, don't do this. Say, no, this is very good. You did a very good job. It makes them proud and happy. They want to do that thing again. But if you tell them, don't do this, which one would I now do?
Many believe decadence in society is more worse through early exposure of children to the internet. Nowadays, children less than 10 years old own telephones and laptops without supervision, leaving them vulnerable to vicious and adult content on the web.
A good government will make sure that there's some form of censorship, no matter how little it is. For example, some of the things that are, infiltrating our space shouldn't be allowed.
Question then arises on where to draw the line between allowing a child good knowledge of internet and exposure to negative content.
The world is a dangerous place. It really is. But you have the role as a parent, as a counselor, as a guardian, literally, to guide them through it. You know it all. You know that these things exist. So you can then help them be exposed to the right thing.
To get raising children right, experts say all adults must ask and answer this critical question. In what ways do you feel your parents had a positive impact on you that you would like to pass on to your children? Some persons note that the things their parents said and did in time past, including their body language, laid the foundation for the values and morals handed down today. There's hardly any lesson planned for child upbringing, but experts believe parents must be deliberate in raising children who will impact society positively.
You can take away a child's game nowadays. Children are exposed to modern gadgets and all that. So there are ways you can punish a child. You can correct a child without necessarily resorting to corporal punishment.
The need for parents to pick up early signs by tuning to the subtle and not so subtle messages their children send is critical.
Parents should be open to their children, and children also should be open to their parents. Then parents should observe daily or weekly or monthly the changes in the behavior of their children.
The media and society also have critical roles to play by harnessing examples of good child upbringing and showcasing them as role models.
And then the media should continue, the conventional media should continue the work that you are doing now. Education, enlightenment. So parents should begin to know that they themselves need to inculcate moral values in themselves, because you cannot teach people what you do not have. So when you are doing things wrong and you are teaching your children, do as I say, don't do as I do, you are losing the children already. So parents should begin to live godly lives, begin to be more God-fearing.
The media is encouraged to do more in setting agenda for promoting good family values and also discouraging bad influences, even if it means naming and shaming.
Indeed, the media in all ramifications should live up to the crucial role of agenda setting, like we are doing now. Many thanks to Lydia for that in-depth report. Some parents believe that because they pay exorbitant school fees, they have passed the buck of parenting and child upbringing to teachers and caregivers. What are the effects? Thomas Ogbetere has a comprehensive report.
The training of children is often regarded as the sole responsibility of parents. Many persons, however, believe that the task of bringing up children that will become good citizens is difficult and must not be left in the hands of parents alone.
When you see a badly behaved man or woman, the first thing that comes to your mind is this man or this woman or this child is very badly brought up. You can tell from the way they interact with people, from the way they talk to people, from the way they behave to people. So the primary responsibility is that of the parents. The secondary responsibility lies on the government in terms of providing free and compulsory education, in terms of, providing like moral education in the school curricula. Of course, the school, complements the efforts of the parents, because the parents start with teaching your children how to be morally upright. And then in the school curriculum, we have different subjects that also teach these children right from when they are young, on how to behave properly, how to respect your elders, how to do the right thing at the right time. And that's why we're propagating for the primary and secondary school curriculum to be infused with issues relating to sexual and gender-based violence, as well as human trafficking, so that you catch them from young.
Experts are of the opinion that a child that is well brought up promotes a morally balanced society.
If you bring your child up very well, the child will be very useful to the society. The parents will be proud that they have a good child. The child will make the parents very proud.
On the other hand, children who lack proper upbringing may spell doom for the society.
When a child is not well trained, he becomes an armed robber, he becomes a drug addict, he becomes a rapist, he becomes so many other evils.
To avoid having morally bankrupt society dominated by crime and criminality, there is advocacy for agents of socialization such as schools, religious organizations, the media and community to complement the efforts of parents and play their roles molding children to become responsible members of society.
Badly brought up children are dangerous to the society. I mean, maybe like God help me to bring my own child up in a good way. But what if the other woman is unable to bring her own child up in a good way? How safe is my own child that is a friend with that child that is badly brought up? So it is a danger, and it's also dangerous that we have badly raised children mixed with the children that are well properly raised, because we call something peer pressure. Children they want to explore. They're inquisitive. So it's easier to convince a child to do bad things, especially by their own peers. It is easier for a child to emotionally manipulate another child into doing bad things. So this is why it is a danger to have badly raised children. We've seen videos on social media of 10-year-old, 12-year-olds puffing cigarettes. We've seen videos of 7-year-old girl twerking on a boy. Who are the parents of these children? It is sad.
Due to demands of modern times, it is now commonplace for some world-class parents to outsource the responsibility of child upbringing to nannies and house helps without proper background checks on such domestic workers or proper supervision of their activities.
Whether we like it or not, house helps are necessary evils. But there are ways that you can at least identify a good house help. Before you employ a house help, you must run some background checks as to where she's coming from, who referred her to you, her family and all of that. But some people don't even care about all of that. Somebody just brings a house help and the next thing she starts living with you in your house, sleeping in your children's bedrooms. You must separate that. That shouldn't happen. First of all, you do your due diligence, find out who this person is, and then you can now employ this house help. And when you employ your house help, you leave them at the mercy of your children. You go to work, they are with your children, your children's food, you don't know what they put in the food, your children take their bath with them and everything. So you must also invest in gadgets. You must try to put some cameras in hidden places where nobody knows but you. Go through these videos from time to time to see what is going on.
Don't leave your child's training for the nanny or hoping that the school will correct it. No matter what type of job you do, always make sure that whenever you come home, there is a kind of impact that you meet them and interact with them.
Nobody can train your child the way you will train. And I think it's better for us to key to that. We need to have quality time with our children. We need to have quality, share their pains, share their joy.
In the olden days, members of the extended family and even the immediate community took active part in raising children, teaching them morals, and bringing any form of indiscipline to the notice of parents. What has happened to that culture?
In Nigeria, we still have that culture where, there's a relationship. So even if you don't grow with them, when they come over or you go and visit, they still remind you that you should remember who you are and where you're coming from. They still can correct you if they see something wrong. They do not say, oh, this is not my business. It is still their business. So when they see something wrong, they correct you. When they see something good, they encourage you and they praise you. So yes, to one extent, I would say they have like a distant role, because they still call you, your parents can report you to them, and they can summon you.
There are parents that now overpamper their children to the extent of not only fighting teachers and relatives who dare to correct their children for wrongdoings, but also defend the actions of their children on social media.
During a child's preteen years, you give a child just a regular phone for phone calls. The idea is you can reach me and I can reach you. But you see parents, I think maybe they think the children are enjoying, I don't know. They buy all sorts of sophisticated phones. The children start engaging in pornography. People start calling them, inviting them out. The parents don't even know what's going on. So parents need to be very careful with the kind of gadgets they expose their children to. The televisions, there's a way you can monitor it, you can program it so that children do not watch films that are not appropriate to their ages. There's a way you can also even program the computers at home so children do not watch inappropriate pornography or inappropriate programs that are not, that they are not supposed to watch.
Experts note that discipline is crucial in molding children to become good and productive adults and citizens that will contribute positively to the development of the society. But how should parents strike a balance between discipline and love for their children?
A parenting where it's all scolding, no love, is dangerous. And a parenting where it is all love and no scolding is equally dangerous. So you must balance your parenting by loving and scolding. You can love when there is need, show love when there is need, and scold when there is need.
See, I went for a program in Lagos where the general overseer of Redeem asked us to pray for our children in university. And one man said, God, I don't know where Rosalind is now. Please help me protect him. After the program, I said, why do you pray like that? He said, because his friend that they went to for a workshop in Jos, somebody brought his own daughter to him to pass the night. So whatever you do, I don't believe in pampering children, but I want to relate to them, get to know their friends, get to know their problems, and so we can find solution to it. In my house, in my family, we eat together. From my childhood, my parents, we eat together.
Experts also enumerate some ways that bad upbringing reflect in society.
I would like to implore the school, because the children are in your care. They spend more time with you than their parents, aside weekends. Government, help us to revisit the Child Rights Act and see how this can properly help our children. Schools, parents as well. Please get off that phone. Leave social media alone. Take care of your children.
The consensus is that a child that is not well and properly brought up can negatively influence his or her peers. Therefore, the gift parents, guardians, communities, government, and policymakers can give to present and future generation is to raise children with virtues to reduce moral decadence in society.
Truly, good legacies parents and guardians can leave for the next generation are children with virtues and the promotion of moral values. Many thanks also to Thomas, and his report brings us to the end of this episode of 30 Minutes on NTA News 24. Experts note that discipline can be corrective, preventive, and supportive. We leave it here today. See you next time.